What if you had one shot to capture a moment before the light changed, before the paint dried?
Alla Prima means at first attempt, a technique where you paint wet on wet, no layers, no second chances, and no do-overs.
Smear it on toast, you do do ooh, or I can help with that. Smear it was ba doody doo wop. Is there something else I can do for you? Toast it. It sounds like
So this week I set the challenge for us both to paint an Alla Prima painting. So one painting in one session. How did you go this week?
I think it went okay because normally I kind of paint in an Alla Prima style anyway, but I actually haven't painted in a while before this painting, and I noticed that I was slipping into some old bad habits, so that was helpful to learn. Yeah, how'd you go?
I find it such a useful tool to really be decisive about your painting, and I learned so much from a session. It's easy to not practice it. I've come off the back of practicing Alla Prima portraits for the last 11 weeks. So 55, so 5 days a week for 11 weeks, doing one painting a day. So 55 paintings. Then I had a couple of weeks break, and so it was a bit different to jump back in, but I think I did okay. Because of the time limit, I've really started with a good focus on drawing.
So that's interesting, I guess, because you're doing portraiture, it's really important that you are drawing it up accurately because if a feature is just a millimeter out, it's not gonna look like the person.
Yeah, that eye nose relationship is really important with getting a likeness, I find. So I really spend a lot of time on my drawing. This was probably about 30 minutes of drawing just to get that structure right down. So then I can be a lot more expressive with my paint application. It's like building a really strong foundation of your house and then, yeah, building a big jumpy castle on top.
Yeah. Definitely a jumpy castle because it's moving, it's wet on wet, so the paint, when you put another stroke down, it's gonna pick up and move around that paint underneath. So you originally, are you saying that you started painting using layers, letting it dry, coming back and painting again? So how was it when you first switched to Alla Prima?
Oh, it was so difficult for me because of, having those layers. And I really enjoy that about painting indirectly. You're building up these layers and it gives you a lot of time to think. And I do a lot of scraping and layering, and just the paint application was really challenging at first for me to just get the consistency down that I needed because I think I was used to painting quite thinly.
Yeah, that's a real challenge, I think, in Alla Prima. I think when I first started painting like that, just the paint, picking up the paint underneath and everything moving around. And then a lot of people struggle with colors getting muddy because you're just constantly mixing the colors on top of each other. How do you work around that?
I think really keeping your lights and your darks separate prevents getting muddy. I used a limited palette for a long time, and to that helped to lessen the mud factor. I think trying to just mix up a really clean mix and put it down and not fuss with it too much.
Yeah, it's an accurate color, mixing accurate color the first time and really being able to see that correctly the first time.
Yeah, and that's what it's so good at teaching you. A lot of people think, oh, alla prima, it's really fast and, you've just got to mix really fast and slap it down really fast. Whereas for me, it's the opposite. It actually forces me to slow right down and mix those colors really accurately and be really deliberate with placing the paint down. I think with Instagram and shows like this where you see it in real time, I think it tricks some people into thinking we're paint. I'd love to paint this fast, hey, I, but this is very sped up. This is like a 3.5 hour painting in 10 minutes. So yeah, it's actually, and the more experienced I get, the slower I paint. So there's a lot more thought. I would like to think there's a lot more thought into it. And if you watch this, I'm definitely adjusting values, adjusting colors. I don't get it right the first time, but the aim is to get it right the first time.
Yeah, and what's so interesting is watching this is that you're just kind of blocking in colors with quite hard edges. There's no fiddling around with the blurring or getting, that soft form. It's all just about getting that accurate color and tone, I guess, at that point, setting yourself up with a good foundation.
Yeah, and just and separating that dark from light. But I mean, there is a formula to it, going from broad to detail. If I jump into detail too fast, it's never ends up good.
That's interesting you said that because that's exactly what I did in mine.
Did you?
And I always, when I haven't been painting for a while and I jump back into it, I just get stuck on details first. And then halfway through, I remind myself, go broad first, get everything in, get rid of the white of the canvas first, and then you can focus on the details. So
That's such a good point that you're not just reminding yourself at the start, but you're constantly reminding yourself all the way through. Keep it broad, keep it broad, keep it broad, keep it open. I think that is one of the best pieces of advice.
yeah, and I still struggle with it. And I think I can see in your practicing Alla Prima for 55 paintings, that's a lot every day. But you can see that there's that confidence and that just ability to set it up, not get stuck on the detail, which is what we all do. But I mean, look at it here. It's just really starting to soften and you're really getting an idea of the form and the light. It's looking great already.
There's such a you definitely have to trust yourself because I hadn't done one for a few weeks and I was painting in front of a camera and that set up some nerves. And at the start, I was like, "Oh, yeah, this is a nightmare." But trusting your process. And like I said, I do have sort of a formula in that I block in the darks, I block in the lights, but I'm also placing down these really sort of big color notes because if I just blocked in all of the shadow and then blocked in all of the light, I can't really see them play off each other. And even here, I end up darkening a lot of those initial areas around the eye socket because it's like you put your very best guess down and then you adjust and go for your second best guess. And that's the joy of painting for me. You're trying and then you try again, and I like those corrections building up in my work, as long as you don't muddy it.
Yeah. See, I've got to push through that because I think as a painter, I hate fixing something. I want to get it right and I want to get it right the first time. And I think that's why I do get stuck to the details too soon rather than just being a little bit more carefree and being okay with pushing through the ugly stage of the painting. I'm so often telling my students, like, just trust the process.
Yeah.
You've got to push through the ugly stage. It's going to happen. And in every painting, there's that time when you're telling yourself, this is terrible, give up. Like, just stop it now. You're wasting your time. And I think that's what an experienced artist can do is they know, just trust it, push through it. It will start to come together. But I think a lot of artists quit too soon. And yet that experience of painting more helps you to realize they all come together in the end, generally.
Yeah, I like the analogy of the teenager, that your painting goes through the teenage years. And so how would you nurture your teenage painting? You gonna, like, kick them out or yell at them, or are you gonna ask, well, what they need and, sort of take a kinda kinder approach to yourself and your painting to nurture it through the pimply teenage stage and allow it to blossom.
Yeah. And now look at that blue, like that spot of blue just under that eye. See, I think and that orange on the cheek, I would be rushing to put that in because I get so excited about seeing those little colors in a face that I want to go straight to putting that in. And I think and I miss really getting the whole in, and that's why those colors sing so much and work together because you've put that whole in first before rushing to the exciting little color mark.
Yeah, you've
Taste.
got to always think about the whole and I really, yeah, again, I like to live dangerously and I'd been painting largely with a Zorn palette, which is no blue. So this painting was like, okay, let's go heavy on the blues. I thought I was going to pull out all the blues, but it's really just ultramarine. And,
And then still the rest is on palette, just with ultramarine.
no, I've probably thrown in. I
I think
have
you've
a
got a cad
limited,
red, right?
yeah, I'll have it. Well, the CAD red I use as a Zorn. I
Oh, yeah,
might
of
have
course.
thrown in a couple of yellows
Yeah.
for her hair, yeah. That wouldn't be a yellow. So the Zorn palette is ivory black, a red, and yellow ochre and white. But I think I've thrown in some lemon yellow, so a cooler yellow and a warmer yellow just for the hair. But yeah,
Yeah.
Zorn is great for for Anglo-Saxon, Eurasian skin tones.
Yes. Very hard for landscapes.
Yeah, but fun. There's another challenge.
Fun. Yes.
Yeah.
Fun if you like a good dreary landscape. I hate the Zorn palette. I'm just gonna put it out there. I don't like it. I know I should probably use
So
it
gonna
for the
challenge you now.
education part. Okay, great. Now you know what your next topic's gonna be.
I was gonna show you the little peel tape off reveal because that's always an exciting part of a work on paper.
It's the most fun. Oh, my painting is just peeling the tape off. Oh, it looks beautiful. It's really, really nice. And so that was roughly about 3 hours, did you say?
Yeah, maybe 3.5 with the drawing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so the layering, I use that wash in the beginning to allow a little bit of background to peek through. My compromise for not being able to layer in an Alla Prima.
Yeah, had you hadn't toned the canvas beforehand, it was just you put a wash on and straight on.
I put a wash on and then just use some paper towel just to wipe it off to make sure it's
Yeah,
pretty dry. By the time I've drawn it, it's not moving very far.
yeah.
One thing I did weird with this was I drew it and then I outlined the drawing with paint, which is not something I would normally do. I put that down to camera nerves. Sometimes I'll go into the eyes, but I did struggle because I outlined that little shadow on the left-hand side. And then because it's Alla Prima and the white was just not really covering it. But I think it works.
Yeah, I
Managed
like
to
it.
work. I really enjoyed this one. It's a great model.
And I love the lininess of some of those areas because I love seeing the artist's hand in a painting. It doesn't look just like a photo. You can see that the marks that made the artwork.
Yeah, it has to be that for me. I mean, we have cameras. So I have no interest in competing with a camera. It's got to be about a relationship with your sitter or your subject. And yeah, that's why it's interesting to watch these time lapses. It's about a journey where you're finding the form, you're recording that process through paint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really beautiful. It's really stunning. If you're listening on podcast, definitely jump on the YouTube so you can see the actual image. The eyes are just stunning. Like the way you've captured the light and the orange and the blues, it's quite cinematic. Yeah, really lovely.
The hard
Really
thing to
lovely.
balance such full on, complementary colors. So orange and blue are opposite on the color wheel, and they have quite the most dramatic effect, but how to tone that down and make it more poetic than shouty.
Smear it on toast, you do do ooh, oh, I can help with that. Smear it was for doody doo wop. Is there something else I can do for you? Toast it. It sounds like
If you're enjoying this episode, could you do us a favor and share it with just one other person? It's a small thing, but it will really help us grow.
And if you want to join in on the fun, use the hashtag Smerdon Toast, no A in Smerdon, to show us what you're working on.
And don't forget to sign up for our newsletter. That way you'll stay in the loop with new episodes, behind the scenes stuff, and whatever else we're up to.
toast it, shoo doo wop. Smear it, wop wop, ba doo be doo wop. Do wanna see a toast that smear, smeared on toast.
Should we jump on and have a look at how you went with my challenge?
Yes, very, very different. I did learn a lot. It was good.
I loved your setup.
Well, I think it's important to note that I was filming this during a
Cyclone,
tropical cyclone.
Cyclone Alfred, shout out.
Tropical cyclone Alfred. So here we are in my bathroom. The power was coming in and out. So we were told to fill up our bathtubs full of water in case the water got contaminated or in case, we ran out of water, and also to flush our toilets. So I just really liked the color of the bath, and that's what I wanted to
It
capture. That was
looks
kind of my
amazing. That
yeah, the color was crazy. I was like, "What is in our water?" But I think it's actually just the coating of the enamel on the bath, but so I did use a little bit of cobalt turquoise light in this. Yeah, and so I started doing the drawing up. I kinda wish I just didn't really think about the drawing up. I was like, "I'm just gonna go into it. I'm not gonna kind of plan out where the bath is too much. I just wanna start trying to capture that color," and I do wish I positioned it a little bit differently.
I think that's a great idea, though. It's a great learning process to just go straight in, you know, trust your gut.
Yeah, and give yourself that challenge that you have to solve then. It's like, "Okay, well, this is how I've drawn it, so I've just gotta make it work." But you can see here I'm already getting stuck on very subtle color shifts rather than putting in that big block areas of color and getting rid of the white of the canvas. Sorry, here I didn't realize my camera had slipped. It's actually really hard to find somewhere that you can film and then have enough light on your canvas and then something that you can attach a camera to behind you. It's actually really hard, particularly when the power's going in and out.
And you have impending floods.
That's right. Yeah. But I think probably at this point I started realizing, okay, block in, get rid of that white, just get those colors in. And you can see that I'm using my brush to just kind of measure everything as well. So yeah, I was drawing from a painting from life.
I think you definitely blocked that in, Yeah, I could see you got seduced by the color shift in the beginning, but now you're back on track. You're just blocking in and it's yeah, the best way to paint. And then you don't really need the drawing because you can just see from the shapes, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And I think I did correct my drawing as I went along. Realized some of the perspective was out a little bit. But it's quite tricky too. So I was painting looking basically directly at that bathroom window, and the light kept changing, and we had rain. It was mainly rain and crazy wind, but eventually the sun would pop out a little bit more, and so that was straight in my eyes. So I guess that's kind of one of the things that you deal with Alla Prima is the light is changing, and that's what you're trying to capture, this light that is so fleeting.
Yeah, and I think I love how brave you are. You just set up everything against you. Impending
Yeah.
cyclone, power could go out. Um, might have to start drinking from your subject.
That's it. The water level might go down at some point.
I couldn't finish
Uh,
my painting because I drank it.
it was funny because over the course of a week, this is in our bathroom. So the top surface of that water got filled with hair and dust, and you were thinking, I definitely don't want to drink that. But this is the kind of point, maybe just a little bit further along, once I got everything blocked in, that I was really starting to love it. And what's interesting is that by the end of the painting, the light was disappearing. It kind of made me speed up a little bit. And then I got seduced again by the details. Once I started getting into that detail stage, I just got drunk on it and I started putting in all these details and I wished I didn't. You'll see that as we get further along. But so that's what I've learned about myself. I definitely, yeah, just get too excited about details and I miss the whole feel.
Oh, I don't think you miss the whole feel at all. And I think the narrative is just, yeah, really, just so evocative. And yeah, I think it's not that you don't ever want details. It's just about being selective with your details. And I think you're quite a master at that.
Ah, well, thank you. You can come anytime.
Yes. And that's where you're allowing the poetry to come through. You're not drawing every tile. You're not putting well, I guess there were no ripples. It was quite still.
Yes, it went very still. But yeah, just wait. I do start putting in the tiles and then I realize, what am I doing? And we have these really ugly, like 90s Bunnings bathroom. strip, like a feature strip of tiles that I hate in our bathroom. But for some reason, I end up putting it
Oh,
in,
good.
and I put it in crooked as well. Didn't I ran out of light, and at that stage, I didn't have time to fix it, but I really wish I didn't put that in now. 1, because I don't like it in real life, and 2, because I think just about this stage, this is where I really liked the painting. Like, I was like, "Yeah, I'm really getting that feel of this kinda eerie cyclone
Yeah.
bathroom water." And then I got, like I said, I like how you said that, seduced on the details.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, the other thing I love about it is that it's not a one of those bathrooms that are really trendy. And I always, even though I have quite a cool house, but I don't have a trendy house. Like, I don't have an old Queenslander, and I think that's where finding the beauty in the not obviously interesting, I think that makes for some of the most compelling painting. And I loved that in one of your self-portraits that you did, and your bathroom is white and it's standard, and yeah, I wish you put the Bunnings tiles in now, like.
Oh, no, they're in, don't worry, they're in.
And there's a I've been looking for this quote for ages. I heard it years ago, and it was one of the impressionist painters, and he would set up his easel, and there'd be this grand vista in front of him, and then he would turn his easel and paint the ugly bush behind him.
Oh, that's so good.
And yeah, I wish I could find that quote. If anyone knows it, pop it in the comments, or the artist that was known for doing that. Oh gosh, this is just such a lovely. Now see, this is gorgeous detail.
Yeah, that was fun.
And that hard edge versus the softness. Yeah, but I think it's a
Yeah.
real skill, and yeah, like, this is what our lives are, and to paint your life is more meaningful to me than a clawfoot bath with 70s tile. Well, I don't know what's trendy now, 50s tiles, Art Deco tiles.
Yeah. I think it's so true, and I think the artworks that I admire the most, it's like someone's, like, cleaning cupboard
Yeah.
or someone's dirty dishes, because if you can make someone look at that and make it look beautiful and make that interesting, something that everyone sees every day and doesn't think anything of, that's where the beauty in art is. It's very easy to do a beautiful painting of beautiful things. Oh, not easy. Painting is hard, let's face it. Painting is very hard, but it's easier to convey beauty
Mm.
of a beautiful
Oh,
scene.
look at that beautiful reflection. I saw that. I can see that in your reference, the little blue on
Yes,
the tap. Yeah, that's so perfect.
and here I put this in, and then there's a little can on the bath. I decided to take it out, which is the fun part of Alla Prima, is you can just put a thicker layer of paint straight over the top and just make it disappear.
Yeah, right. That's great. Yeah, I think that finding the beauty in the everyday, like, it is easier to paint beautiful things, but then sometimes it's harder. Like, how sometimes I find that with landscape, how do you improve on nature? It's just
Yes.
so beautiful. Like, I much prefer to make an old pot look compelling than how do I capture the grandeur of a sunset in painting? I still haven't really
Yeah.
I haven't seen a painting that has done that.
Yes. Yeah. Or horses. I think horses are incredibly hard to paint because they're so beautiful in their movement.
Mm.
But I think when you get a horse to still, their heads are kind of so weird when you really think about these long, narrow heads. Yeah, it's really hard to actually paint them beautifully because it's the movement that's so beautiful about them.
I just, went to Italy last year and had a chuckle. Why couldn't they figure out horses for so many years? Wasn't really till they got the camera that they started figuring out horses. There's
They're really hard.
there's
They're really, really hard to paint.
there is some expressive horses in the Uffizi.
Yeah. And they look so weird when they're front on.
Yeah.
Unless they're side on, they look so weird. But we never really see them front on.
So, yeah, it feels like the storm is gathering in the
Yeah,
watching the
it's
painting.
interesting that I've thinking about the light changing as I've been painting this, I've gone in and gone, "Oh, I need to change the light. It's actually darker." But that's because it did get darker over the course of time as I was painting. And so as I'm painting, and this is where I must have skipped that recording bit. But yeah, I've gone in and put those details in, which I really wish I didn't. But
Like
that
it.
is it.
Oh, I know.
That is the bath.
I think that no, I think it needs those tiles. Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're a little wonky. I don't know. Yeah, it is. It is what it is. I put it in there anyway.
Yeah, the color shifts and the light. Yeah. Oh, amazing. You're just so impressive. Just love
No, you're too
I
kind.
love your
You're too
artwork.
kind. Well, it was nice sharing with you, and I really enjoyed the challenge. That was really great. So thank you for giving me that. But what I learned was that I focused too much on details. So I'm going to set a new challenge for us for
Okay.
next week.
Okay.
Well, next week, whenever we do it.
Yep.
It's going to be the same subject. So pick one subject,
Yep.
but we're going to do timed paintings because I really learnt with Alla Prima to help me to stop focusing on the details. I need to do timed short paintings. So we're going to do same subject 3 different ways. 1 20-minute, 1 hour painting, and 1 2-hour painting.
Oh, okay. Just leveling up. Not one painting, but 3.
Yes. A little bit more work.
Okay, so if anyone wants to play along at home, you could do those paintings. So a 20-minute, a 1 hour, and then a 2 hour painting of the same subject.
Yes, same subject. Yeah.
And gosh, that's going to be good. You could hashtag Smerdon Toast or
Yeah.
Smerdon Toast.
Smerdon Toast, no way, and smeared on.
Smerdon Toast on Instagram. We'll have a look at those hashtags before we record our next episode.
Yeah.
And you can go to our separate websites. I'm seabastiontoast.com, and we will have these Alla Prima paintings for sale. Do you have any lessons available on your website?
I do always. So my website's smerdon.com, and I've got some art lessons at artery.com.au, but you can find them on smerdon.com.
We'll put the links below. This is on YouTube, and it's also a podcast, so you can either listen to us or watch us. And yeah, is that it?
That's about it.
That's
Good
about
job.
it. Our
Good
first
job, Toad.
episode.
Good job.
We've
Done
done
it.
it.
How exciting. Feel free to let us know any topics that you would like us to chat about too, or just suggestions for our next painting challenges. I think that's a good idea. But we can probably wrap this up
Yeah.
here. Yeah. Hope you gained something beneficial from this chat and looking at our works. Keep putting miles on your brush.
And be kind to yourself.
All right. Bye.
See you.